The following stream contains mature content and subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
Long before the sects divided, there was the enveloping darkness. It was in this dark humanity learned to trust the light, to run from shadows, and most importantly, to fear.
Brutality and superstition walked hand in hand in this dark time, but also hope. Hope that the heroes of this age could hold back the monsters and illuminate the path through the shadows.
The children of Cain are no different. Some run from the shadows, some turn to the light, and some become the monsters of legend passed down from one hearth to another.
Their story is one of loss, one of struggle, and one of death. For what can survive in the wake of those that cannot die?
This is what it means to be a myth made flesh. This is what it means to be a vampire in the Dark Ages.
Welcome to our Vampire Dark Ages stream. We here at McStabber Studios understand that some of the subjects that come up during this chronicle are problematic by modern standards. Our goal is to handle these kinds of situations in a manner that does not directly or indirectly glorify these kinds of actions. While we understand that we are playing in a world of monsters, that does not mean we must be the monsters ourselves. Please also be aware, none of our cast are experts in history. That means there will be some deviations between the world timeline and the vampiric world. You can go ahead and chalk that up to the Cainite influence on the mortals around them. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy our story. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to McStabber Studios' Vampire Dark Ages, Glimpses of History. I am the storyteller, Shanky McStabber.
And I am Mama McStabber, and I am playing Elena Thorndotter of Clan La Sombra.
I am Zachary Naldra, he, him. I am playing Miguel Tenor, also he, him, of Clan Gancro.
I'm Junie Varnish, and I'm playing Peregrine McSullen of Clan Assamite, supposed to be a Toreador.
Hello, I'm Maddox, and I will be playing Snatcher of Clan Nosferatu.
Hello everybody, I'm the Reverend Sarkhan, and I'll be playing Agustin de la Cruz of Clan La Sombra.
Well, when we were last with this group of Cainites, they had a small issue going on in the past with somebody collecting the levy that was not them, which was interfering with their own, well, money generation, you can say. Of course, they dealt pretty well with it. It involved a stampede of horses, some arrows in people, murder, generally. And then they brought some survivors back for some enthusiastic interrogation. We'll call it that. Enthusiastic interrogation. Twitch TOS and all. And they've got some additional info. They have suspicions. But where we start tonight, we're actually going to start about a month after those events. At this point, you have been in your past building your fortress for a little over 2 months. Progress is coming along, you think, decently. It's kind of hard to tell. You've never built fortresses before, so you don't know how. You have not built full fortresses. No. Elena looks at me like that. She's not built full fortresses. You burned a few cities, sacked a few, but you haven't built full fortresses. As we open tonight, with the setting of the sun, these Canaanites have risen. Miguel from the ground. The rest of the Canaanites have come up from their cellar. And as we open up, I need to get from everyone, please give me a perception empathy roll, please. Difficulty will be 6. Elena's laughing. I guess she's not very good at perception empathy.
Dice pool for that. Empathy? What the fuck's that?
What? I actually have. Would my specialty of detect weakness in perception help me?
Yeah, I'll let you use that.
I have 1 success on 2 dice.
Does my specialty in attentiveness?
Yes, I will let you use that. 5. Very nice.
6 successes.
Augustine. Wow. Another 6. 2 6s and a 5. For Augustine, Peregrine, and Miguel, as you're moving around, there's an odd tension in the air right now. It seems half of your camp are not near the other half of the camp, and both groups are staring daggers at each other. Now, it won't take much for the two to have one. It'll be very easy to point it out once they'll even notice once somebody mentions it. But right now, you can definitely see both groups are not enthused with each other.
I totally think Elena and Snatcher are like chit-chatting at the back of the group, so we don't notice.
Yeah, we're like doing that talking and looking like between us at the center between us. So
Yeah,
it's just
exactly,
open air that we're staring at, but talking. Oh, God.
Is it a Transylvanian versus Rus thing, or?
Funny you ask that. Yes, it is.
Are they working or just and like shooting daggers, or are they like crowded out, splitting sides?
This is evening, so they're not able to work. Construction stops at dark because they can't see shit. But their camps, usually there was at least some sort of intermingling, but the campfires are built on opposite ends of the compound from each other. They are not speaking to each other. There's people cooking their meals. The cook doesn't know who to cook for. He's been cooking instead for the guards that you have and the ghoul entourage, because he doesn't know which side to be cooking for at any given point right now.
Is it so divided that the people from the Transylvania side are closer to Transylvania and the people from the Rus side are closer to Rus?
Yes.
Within the comp? Oh,
yes.
My God.
I'm assuming my ghoul and Elena's ghoul have returned from the trip to negotiate with blacksmith, and we now have a blacksmith.
You have a blacksmith now. Now,
okay.
Since you bring up the blacksmith, I will mention this. While it's saving money on the cost for repairs, it's still costing money for him to be there. So your funds are still depleting faster than you would really be comfortable with. Food stocks, pretty good. Construction materials, real good. Money is still an issue. It's looking tight. You think you'll have enough, but it's looking tight.
I'm gonna. I imagine Johan is not yet trained enough in this time to be in tune to what Miguel would be wanting to know in this situation.
Not after a month, probably not. He's still learning.
So yeah, Sherazine is still learning too.
However, Sister Luminita would probably be able to provide him some insight if he checks in with her.
When you go to speak with her, Brother Miguel, there seems to be a divide going on They won't speak of it even in confession. But I get the impression they're having an argument of faith at the moment.
Was there some sort of catalyst that you could tell?
Not that they've brought to me. I have been doing confessions and trying to be a spiritual advisor. But you know, Brother Miguel, they still associate me with you, and they are properly fearful of those they don't understand. I know you to be a servant of the Lord, but they do not trust it as well.
This to be understood. It is a burden that we have given to overcome. Another hurdle to make things a little darker for the light to shine through.
I will
And
see if I can find some more info for you.
if you can find any common ground between the two, that would be of assistance.
And we'll see what I can do.
And then Miguel's going to go relay what she told him to the rest of the group.
Peregrine would have got, as you're talking to your gold, she would have just gone right to the pagan foreman and asked in their language what's going on.
The foreman looks you up and down. He knows about your attempts to understand and to support their beliefs. When he looks at you, those Kievan curs have destroyed some of our shrines.
Which ones?
The ones to the old gods on the outer rim. They say they didn't do it. We know they did it.
Okay. Which gods?
The Wolf Lord.
In particular.
The Wolf Lord's symbols.
Is this in related to your guardians that we had a, shall we say, an understanding with?
Yes.
Okay. I will tell the group. Do you need help with rebuilding the shrines?
We're rebuilding them. This isn't the first time it's happened.
How many times has it happened?
And he looks at his hands and he can't count very.
Has it been
3.
more than 3? Has it been more than one full moon?
No, this just started in the past week.
Okay. We'll bring it to the others. Please rebuild. If it happens again, you come to me. Directly. Understood?
Yes, mistress.
I will take care of it. I appreciate you telling me. Turns hot heels right back to the group. Oh, she's pissed.
And you get back. It took you a bit longer to find the foreman or the head of the Transylvanian side. Miguel knew exactly where his ghoul was, so you two arrive at about the same time.
I know what's up.
What do you mean?
Why the two groups are divided.
What is it?
The shrine to the Wolf Lord was destroyed 3 times this week, or roughly about. And they are blaming the other side for destroying the shrine. They're rebuilding it now. And this is to the Wolf Lords that we have an understanding with. This goes above, a little bit more above belief.
What is the shrine in an area that is not protected by our guards?
The shrines are in an area that the guards patrol, but because of nighttime, it's very easy to, well, not see the shrines. The Wolf Lord ones aren't inside the fence even because, or inside the main palisade because they want them facing where the Wolf Lords would see them. Behind a wall, the Wolf Lords would not see that at all.
Peregrine explains. This is important.
Yes.
What's it?
Elena's
I'm
going
not-
to go to the roost.
Oh.
Okay. While you're doing that, I will let the rest
they
of
can
them
finish talking.
finish
while
talking.
he's Moving.
She watches Elena going, oh, well, I think she's going to find out what their side is, and I'm not going to blame anyone. I just think that if it happens again, he's supposed to report to me directly, and we'll start finding out.
If I ask the rats if they saw anyone destroying it? I don't know how far out they would venture.
Let's go with, it's going to be an animal kin roll for sure. Let's see.
Luckily, I can squeak their language.
I hate
Squeak,
you.
squeak, and squeaker.
Manipulation, animal kin. Difficulty, because you can speak their language, we'll drop it to 5.
Wow, I make a pun and I'm still rewarded. That feels weird.
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Secretly, he loves them. He just wishes he was better at them.
That's what you claim.
That'll be 3 successes. Unfortunately, I can't use my specialty on that, otherwise it would have been a 10.
3 successes.
Crit, sorry.
Harriet smells of 2 legs like you. Did you bring food?
I lay out some food for it.
2 legs.
2 legs dead, 2 legs alive.
2 legs. Smell like man fires. Like, and it gives you a kind of, you get this mental image of your camp, but seen from a rat's point of view, which is bright fires, lots of little food crumbs left behind for him.
Really tall.
Yeah.
So he saw someone coming from.
He smelled them. He didn't see them, but he can smell that it's definitely somebody from within your camps.
All right, then I relay that information as well.
Elena, while Snatch is doing that, is the rest of you having a talk before we flash to Elena?
Can your rats smell the difference between the 2 sides?
If they can, I don't believe they could describe such. But I also wouldn't count on their noses being the best. We'd need to talk to a dog or something if I wanted to get something to properly track difference.
Not
And
sure
I don't.
how our wolf friends would like a dog being brought into camp.
Have your birds seen anything?
Have my birds seen anything, storyteller?
They watch, but I don't think you've had them specifically watching for that. So, given that you've had them mostly on the perch of the fortress being made and the wolf shrines on the outside of the wall, that's a dead zone due to height of the the palisades you've put up versus the shrines?
So their instructions have been to fly around to look for threats.
I will roll to see.
So if whatever was an outside force that may be considered, they might register that as a threat if they see something coming from the outside coming damaging. As
Speaking
opposed
to your
something from
birds,
the inside.
your birds are so used to two legs going out there to pray at the shrines, they haven't really paid attention to which people go to it because the birds tell you that you all look alike. And they haven't paid attention to who might go there.
I believe all our birds can tell is that it does not appear to be an outside antagonist. I'm not sure whether or not that's a positive or negative at this point.
We'll do our best to keep an eye out, maybe alert the guards. And I guess just wait for pending information from Elena.
Elena, you're going to find one of the Kievan Roos.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard. You can find the head of their particular delegation, because the way you pull the workers is one day it is from one village, and they kind of cycle through villages that way. Actually, it's normally 2 days from a village, and then it cycles that way. But you find the head of the current group, Mistress.
What is going on?
What have they told you?
I want to know what is going on.
A plague has been thrust upon us by those vile heathens.
Have you forgotten our history?
Our villages have become sick.
Truly sick?
Yes. And it is those heathens' fault.
Because they prayed at a shrine?
Because their pagan god, their heresy, is bringing sickness upon us.
You know that shrine is tied to an actual living creature, yes?
Those creatures bring sickness upon us.
They don't even travel to your villages.
Then where did the sickness come from?
That is an excellent question, but I do not think it has anything to do with their shrine or their god, as it is. So get your head out of your ass and think critically.
Mistress, whenever our people intermingle with them, we end up sick. And it is happening again. They bring plague among us.
Are you eating the same food?
They bring them foul miasma around them. You don't have to eat the same food. They bring their tainted air and make us sick.
They're breathing your air, really?
That is...
Are you a child?
That is known wisdom by the village elders.
Then I shall go speak with your village elders and see this sickness with my own eyes. Because it feels like I am speaking to a toddler.
Mistress, I know your kind don't get sick, but we do.
I was once your kind. I know this. But it may not be caused by what you think it is caused. Often it is not. If there is an issue with hygiene, if there is an issue with infestation.
I want to point out, back then, nobody knew hygiene was a cause of disease.
Oh, no, trust me, we know how to keep ourselves fucking clean, though.
They're very primitive views on disease.
But if there's issues with that, then we must see if that is the cause. We must see if there is someone sick around infecting.
We have a number of sick in our villages now. And it started after being here with these heathens.
How are they sick? How do they act?
They're not eating. They're sleeping more. Some have lesions on them. Some open sores. We've had a few just died. Not a mark on them. They have brought a curse upon us. We have sent for a priest to come and bless the village. But most priests won't come out this far.
Would you accept a nun?
That nun is
She's human.
she is tainted by the same thing that you are, mistress. We work for you. We understand how it is.
Yes, you get paid. You are treated with respect.
And if we don't work for you, our villages are killed. Our people are murdered. We understand how it works. Doesn't mean we like you, mistress. We know what you are.
Like me. I never expected anyone to like me, not even when I was like you. But you will respect. And when you are in my house, there will be no infighting.
I can speak to my people. Cannot guarantee what they'll do. They are scared. Their families are sick.
I understand, and I will do all I can to help your sick families. I will look into this. I promise you. But have you or your people destroyed their shrines?
I do not know, mistress.
Ask around.
I'm sure we have some hotheads.
Ask around. And advise them if they decide to try it again, I will eat them. And she turns and leaves.
And that put a definite, his eyes widened and he stepped back. He even made the sign of the cross in the air after you said that. Not that it affects your kind, but they think so. As you return back to the group.
All right. The current leader that is here from one of the villages says that their people are sick. They believe that the Transylvanians have cursed them, sickened them. They have lesions, malaise, and one even suddenly died without a mark on them. He is uncertain if one of their people destroyed the shrine, but he would not be surprised as there are a few hotheads. I advised him to inform his hotheads that they should not do it again, because if they do, I will eat them. They have requested a priest to come and bless the villagers that are sick. But the likelihood of a priest coming out this far is slim. And if there is one willing to come out this far, that's probably going to be more headache than he's worth.
If need be, I have a wee bit of understanding of the earth wisdom that you taught me a bit. We can make some herbal remedies and at least try to help.
I would like to go and see these villagers to see what sort of illness we are dealing with.
That's fine.
Might I come along?
Certainly, Snatcher.
As a heathen, I might as well show them that we mean them no harm and we're not trying to curse them. It doesn't
Understand
work
they
that
have
way.
been converted now for almost a century.
No, I'm representing the other side too.
Exactly,
so
you
that
are. But understand if they don't want you in the room with them. It's not necessarily
Pay no
personal.
mind. Nah. Been living with this for over 500 years. You get used to it after a while.
All right, then.
How essential is having both groups working at the same time here?
You can't operate without them, really. You need a number of laborers to move the heavy stone, to move the trees, to fell them. You can isolate them quite a bit. You can reduce.
Or have them separated based on tasks.
You can, but you won't be able to completely keep them apart. There'll still be some working for both. It's just the nature of how many villages you have. The fact that each individual person in a village can only work 2 days because they need time to tend the fields and they need time for their own stuff. So you're cycling through people constantly. On the plus side, you are spreading the wealth around quite well.
Goddamn hope so. We have low funds. We might as well be using it for something.
Peregrine, did the villages of the West make any statement concerning any sickness or disease?
She'll look into her notes. She takes notes daily. Has she gotten it?
No.
No. Not a peep.
This is something that is just affecting the eastern villages.
Aye. Could be a number of reasons, to be honest. But I can assure you, 'tis not the fate that is the defining factor. I've seen many, illnesses in my day. I've survived a plague, actually, back in Dublin. So, it
will be good for you to join me, so you can possibly identify something you may have seen before. Augustine and Miguel, if you are staying here, I would ask that you please investigate the keep, the stables, everywhere here, to see if there's anything that could possibly give a clue what is causing this sickness.
Of course.
And if you happen to catch whoever sabotaged the shrine, that would also be useful.
Preferably to question why. Well, I know why they sabotaged the shrine. They're angry.
Either that or they're attempting to pit the two sides against each other.
Could be. But I think it is the ruse. The hotheads. Tempers are a thing for my people.
No comment.
They're destroying shrines. I destroyed cities.
So
I just murdered a couple of people. It's fine.
So it's all a matter of scale, then.
Indeed, and how much power you can control in your armies. Well, let's gather some horses and go.
So, Elena, Peregrine, and you bring in Snatcher as well. Okay, and then Miguel and Augustine are going to stay and investigate. Since Miguel and Augustine are going to investigate. Please give me, you can go perception, intelligence, or wits, pick them, an investigation. So I have that as a note for later. You can also do enigmas if you wish. Same kind of thing.
Oh. Does attentive count for anything here?
Sure. You're looking for clues. Attentive sounds good.
All right.
Will quick assessment help me?
Sure.
Perfect.
There's a
Does
lot to
Mr.
cover.
Auspex always on help at all?
Their heightened senses? Sure.
Yep.
That will cut your difficulty to 5 instead of 6.
Must be
4.
nice to have aspects.
Does it heighten all the senses at once, or
can
is
pick.
it just... Oh.
Yeah.
I've
2 successes
never
for me.
actually figured that power out.
Okay. I will keep that as a note because it's going to take a while to search the whole place. It's a lot to search, especially now that the walls have started to be built. Because while the interior isn't high enough that you can actually, that you can't see through it, there's about waist high walls through the building now. It's turned into a waist high maze as the building is getting, or the fortress is getting put in. So we're going to go to Elena, Peregrine, and Snatcher. You're taking horses down. Elena, you have inoffensive to animals. Peregrine, you do not, do you?
I'm offensive as fuck. Well, actually, I've got I do have 1 animal keen and I do have 1 ride.
Yeah. So charisma animal kin, real quick. Difficulty is 8.
Okay, I'm rousing charisma.
Okay.
Because fuck that. That's 8.
Yep. Difficulty.
Only
8.
got 2.
2.
I rolled 2
Oh,
nines.
that's enough to get the horse to let you ride without immediately chucking you off a cliff.
Is it one of...
She'll just gently tell Snatcher to tell the horse that she'll give him a nice apple if we get back safely.
Snatcher will make the various neighs to tell the horse she's not going to eat you. You're a horse. You're not tasty.
I assume I'm not going to say you're taking the draft animals. Those you use for draft work. They're great for pulling the logs and helping with the workers with
exactly.
the stones. You have riding horses.
We're doing the riding
Yeah.
horses.
Right.
Is this one of the horses that we recently acquired, or one of the ones that came with
most
us
of
on the
ones
trip?
You recently acquired were draft horses.
We're draft horses. That's
Oh,
good
so
work
we're
horses.
still using them for
Mhm.
hauling. Okay.
Using them for what they work well at. Hauling the shit.
All 24 of
And
them.
as the villages get, richer, they may decide to invest in a horse for plowing.
And we have
you
enough
all-
horses that breeding wouldn't be an issue either.
Mm-mm.
You're going to set out, I assume, first to the closest village on the roof side.
Yes.
And you all set out on the path and ride down. And it's quiet night. You hear the insects. You hear the animals. Give me my perception alertness, though, please. I have to have you roll that. It's riding a horse is the equivalent to driving a car, which means...
I am rousing fucking perception.
Okay. You're going to heighten your...
Eyes in the back of my head by chance?
Sure.
I got hungrier.
I'm going to point out heightened senses.
Okay. So
Do I
your
add an extra or
difficulty
no?
will be 5
GG.
for what you're doing here.
People
This
with
is the
heightened
equivalent of a
heightened
car.
senses.
So I have to make you roll this, 3.
I actually got 4.
4. Not bad.
Mathematically difficult, but 7.
Damn.
Nice.
Fuck.
That specialty helped my ass a lot.
So as you are riding towards the village, first of all, there's a number of insects. You can hear them, the birds, rustling in the leaves. It's very normal sounding. But Snatcher, there is very slight rustling that there seems to be a little more activity of very small critters than you're used to hearing going down into the valley. You didn't hear them, of course, up on the pass because, well, on the pass, it's a trail without a lot of forest on it. As soon as you start going down into the valley, though, there's a lot more small critter activity than you would expect. You don't know what kinds, you can't tell even with 7. But there is some small critter activity all through the place.
I'll definitely indicate the bushes as I trot the horse past you two. A lot of things seem to be very active. More than there normally would be in any wilderness sense. They seem to be collected.
That's not good.
And you have heightened senses, Bergen. Even with heightened senses, you're not catching, and after Snatcher points out, you don't catch sight of any of them. Not even a hint of anything moving around out there, even with heightened senses.
I don't hear anything.
It's just small rustles. I can't even tell what kind of creatures they would be. They're simple rats, rabbits, I don't know.
Oh, we shall see if it is even more woodland creatures at the village.
If that's the case, I can try to get them to leave.
That's fair.
And as you're arriving at the first village, the village is quiet. It's after dark. Most people have shut their doors, barred their windows. Now, you've been to the village once or twice since you've been here. You've been here 2 months. I'm sure you've at least checked on each of the villages to collect your levy from them as well, because they owe levy to the fortress as well. So you know where the wise woman, or, here, grandma would be. You also know where the village elder would stay, so you could go to either one of those if you wish.
Peregrine,
Aye.
the cunning woman lives there. She will speak with you.
Okay, no problem.
I will go speak with the elder.
Sounds good.
Snatcher, I assume you're assuming a guise of an ugly but not Nosferatu man.
Actually, as I pull up, I'd like to instead just hide entirely and sneak around the village that way and see what I can learn just from idle chatter.
Okay. I'm not going to make you re-roll. We're going to keep what you rolled, and we'll come back to that. Who shall we do first? Let's see. We're going to do Elena first, going,
all right.
Roll to die for that. You go over to the village elders, pound on his wooden door, which surprisingly is a pretty stout door. It's got a wooden, this is the time before any of them really had stone. It's a wooden shack, essentially. Thatch roof. But you hear shuffling inside before the village elder comes out. You put him 55, 56, which is,
pretty damn old.
Pretty damn old for the time.
Yeah.
And he looks, mistress?
Yes, I have come about your sick villagers.
Yes, we've had some sick people, mistress.
May I come in to discuss them with you?
He looks nervous at first, but then
I will bring you no harm.
He puts his hand. Enter and be welcome.
Thank you. And she comes inside.
And when you go inside, there's several crude, but effective crosses hung up. He's got several bulbs of garlic hung up. All the superstitions. Wild roses. Seem to be a few of those too.
Elena actually leans over one of the bunches of wild roses and takes a sniff. I do wish these would grow up in the pass. And then she goes and has a seat.
And he looks odd at you and then looks at them and odd at you and then comes over. He doesn't sit. He just stands before you.
How long has the sickness been spreading?
We first saw it about a fortnight ago. But sickness comes and goes from time to time, and then it's gotten worse in the past 7 nights.
Past 7 nights it has been worse.
We've lost 4 from this village.
Is it only the workers that have come up to work for us, or is it others as well?
It's the families of the workers.
So the families that don't even come up to the pass.
Yes, mistress.
They stay here in your village, are getting sick.
Yes, mistress. It's a curse from those heathens, cursing the families of the workers.
I can tell you that those heathens are not effectively able to curse you with what they are worshipping. What they are worshipping is not some fabricated god. It is a creature that is living. I've seen it with my own eyes. And it doesn't leave Transylvania.
Mistress, heretics are all the same.
I understand.
I wish the church would just burn them out.
Well, that's an awfully narrow-minded perspective. But to each their own.
That is what the Lord commands. Suffer not the heretic.
And how you treat the least of these. Do we forget that too?
Yeah, that doesn't apply to them.
Sure it does. They struggle, they toil in the earth, they live, make their children, grow old, and die, just as you do. But that is neither here nor there. The sickness is real, whether or not it is caused by heretics or something else. I will ensure that is figured out.
If you can banish the curse laid upon us, we will be thankful.
Good. I do not seek for the people of Rus to suffer more than they already do. This was my home.
We didn't start getting sick until we started working with them.
You all have been working with them for 2 months. And it has only been a fortnight. Something is suspicious about that. I will find it. Just as a month ago there were Rus and Transylvanians working together to bar the passage and steal the levies. It is suspicious. And when that failed, all of a sudden your people are getting sick.
Could it have been bad food from them?
I will look into that.
You gave us food from...
Indeed, it seemed like the food was fine. They were eating it themselves. But I can look into that. Elder, please. Put aside your hatred of the pagans momentarily. Focus on your people. They are what keep your village thriving. How can you best serve your people?
Mistress, things would be easier if we could just eradicate the heathens.
The heathens are not coming to your villages. They stay in their own.
But a foul wind blows over the mountain from them.
I will investigate that. If there is a foul wind coming from their village, it will be stamped out. But I doubt it is the people causing it. There's likely some other culprit. We beings of night and magic and supernatural things, we have enemies, you know. Far worse than you people can ever be. And they target people like you to make nights difficult for us. So I will look into it. And if it is as you say, I will let you know you were right. And if it isn't, I will put you on the correct path. Is that fair?
If you say, mistress.
Very good. I will do all I can to help your village. Thank you for your hospitality. And she exits.
And you go to exit, and you see his fire was banked down, but as you're leaving, you can smell the smoke building up as soon as you leave, immediately banking the fire up again.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he's not going to sleep tonight.
Now we'll flash to Peregrine. Peregrine, you go to the old woman of the village. She is actually quite old. You would estimate 70s. An exceptionally old woman for the time, to be fair. Especially for someone not of noble birth, not living in a city and living out in a village of hard work.
Embrace her for the accomplishment alone. Holy fuck.
I know, right?
And when you knock on, you know exactly which place is hers. The herbs hanging from outside as they're drying. Everything, just a bunch of herbs. You do see a jar that has dirt in it with, you think there's nails in the dirt.
Sounds right. Yep, that tracks. 110%.
You're not so sure she's as Christian as some of the rest of them in this city or in this town.
That's why Elena called her the cunning woman.
It's called lip service.
It's called pretend so you don't get burned.
And when you knock on the door, it takes her a bit. You can hear her swearing the whole way to the door.
That's fair.
Something, you can catch glimpses or bits and pieces of it, even with your heightened senses. She's obviously doing it under her breath, but a lot of complaints about who wakes an old woman in the night and can't they let her sleep? If they're going to die tonight, they'll die. Not much she can do about it.
That's valid.
And when she opens the door, she starts off, "Why are you?" And then she stops when she sees who it is.
Peregrine will actually give her a gentle curtsy and say, "Dearest grandmother, I have come to talk with you. If you would be so kind as to let me converse with you on what is going on."
Come, enter. And as soon as she lets you in, she looks both ways and then shuts the door behind you.
I can promise you I was hidden until you let me in. Nobody saw me at your door.
We've got a foul wind in our village.
I
have tried the normal. I have smoked the place. We have bled them. We have tucked herbs under their tongue. We have put onions under their feet to pull the toxins out.
But
it's not seeming to help.
What do they have? What do they look like, and how do they feel? I mean, are they clammy? Are they just hot and dry?
Some burning with an inner fire, Some cold. Some have lesions, cankers appearing. Some are afflicted by the twisted malady, pulled up on themselves, pain in the extremities. It's not one thing which is the problem. That's why it has to be a foul wind, a curse from somewhere. I don't listen to these old fools that it's coming. We existed with the past between us for 100 years.
'Tis not I nor any of them that did it.
But something has put a hex upon us and the other two villages nearby. I've tried to appease the spirits of the land. Doesn't seem to have worked. They're still getting sick.
'Tis not a hex. 'Tis a sickness. I speak as one who has survived a plague. It means that people have gotten an infection within them and has turned into what you see now. Wiped out many a people that I knew in Dublin many, many years ago.
We've seen sickness. And normally it's all the same. When we get a bout of sickness, it spreads and goes through, and you'll see varying amounts of the same symptoms. These are different symptoms, different things. This is either we have been cursed or the land is angry for something. I won't tell these fools that, because they will, if we say the land is angry, they'll scream that God is angry, that they're associating with hell. Not long ago, they were relatives, cousins. Second removed, twice removed, third removed. Now, all they see are heretics and witches. They've forgotten all the old lore.
'Cause I choose to forget. 'Tis not the religion that makes what is going on happen. 'Tis called disease. 'Tis sickness that has happened through millennium. Your people are just seeing it now because it has just come to your people now, as people are now traveling within the pass. It is not anything that has to do with the gods, whether it be multiple or one. It is how your body is handling an infection. And she'll pull out an old book, an old medicine book that she's been translating into the local language, and she'll show her. And I'll say, I don't know if you can read it. I can translate. But if you look at this, you can see that many illnesses have been written down for eternity. And I'm talking about from the old Romans and the old Greeks all the way up to your people.
My daughter's daughter. You can read it to me.
Would you like it?
And you go and see her rummage around, and she pulls something out of, it's a bag that's in the corner. And it's a small, it's obvious it's some sort of iconography.
Mm-hmm.
She hands it to you, a gift for a gift.
All right, happily accepted. I do wish, if you need any help with this, I have some of those old herbs, and that I have no problem giving to you for understanding.
I've tried all the herb lore. I know everything my mother taught me, my mother's mother taught me.
She opens up again the book and shows, these are different herbs. They are in your area, used for different things. Lavender. She starts going over different herbs. You have them in your area. Some of them do not need to be dried, and some of them can be put into a tea that people drink, and it will help with the inner parts of their body to find that balance, that happy balance between being sick and well. Plus, if they get cold, or warm them up and heat them up, but if they get hot, start letting them not be as wrapped up and letting the body cool.
Yes, mistress.
If you need help, I'm always willing to help. If you need me to collect stuff, I'd be happy to help. But this is not a pox this is not something that is hexed from the gods nor your land. It's just from people mingling and people that may or may not have things that are passed on. And it's not the people from the other side. It's travelers. And this is how humans mix together. I've seen it for several years.
These fools here would not understand me speaking with you. But I can send my brother's son. He works in the camp. I will send him if I need you.
I can make paste as well, and I can make other things too to help with applying to lesions in such sickness, okay? You're not alone in this, but you need to talk to us so we can help you. And to break down this ignorance of basing things on religion more so than just human, activity.
I don't know about this human activity you speak of. I only know of the sicknesses that spread from either the land is sick and passes it, or the air is sick and passes it, or the spirit is sick, as we have learned for years. But we do know that the spirits that cause sickness, in some cases, those spirits don't like certain herbs, certain flowers, plants. And we know it chases them away.
That's fine. And what we'll do is we'll chase it away together. And we'll show that the power of education and medicine can go a long way.
If you would like, I can take you to see one who probably will not make it through the night.
All right. I'll see what I can do.
And you see her go and get her shawl and her walking stick. And as you're coming out,
will offer her arm if need be.
Oh, she is not the type who will accept assistance.
That's fine.
Do I see them as they're coming?
I was about to say, Elena's coming towards you as they come out as you two come out. Now,
It's the
we're gonna
respect
pause right
given.
there
That's
a
what I was
second.
doing.
Snatcher, you are wandering the village. Around the village. And as you're wandering around the village, you have noticed you don't see any small rodents, though you do see a lot of droppings, rat droppings. You recognize those. You have dealt with those quite a bit. And at one point, you almost swear you saw in a water trough reflections of light that was not there. Almost like a shimmering light in the water trough. On a night there's no moon. You saw it briefly out of the corner of your eye, but then didn't see it again.
Oh, I'm definitely going over to that trough.
There's something odd here for sure. You don't know what it is. Something feels off.
Does it have water in it, or
Yes.
is it empty?
It's got water in it. It looks like a lot of it's caught rainwater. You are in the Carpathians. There's noted storms throughout the year. In the wintertime, it'll be all snow, but right now, storms, quakes, lightning happens quite often. So it's rainwater, probably used for animals since it's a trough.
Oh, for animals? Okay, then I'm way less worried about what I'm about to do. Cool. I'm going to just take my lovely invisible hand and just reach in, go to the bottom, and just slowly drag from one side of the trough to the other, see if there's anything in there, because I can't see in the dark.
And much like I do with the modern edition of Vampire, you are still using obfuscate unless someone sees you interacting with the environment. So if you're putting your hand in the water, if no one's there to see it, it won't break obfuscate because nobody saw you do it.
I'll take that.
And as you put your hand in the water, water is cold. Colder than the night air. The bottom does have a thin slime to it, which is normal from water that's stagnant. You see it quite often.
But as I search through the trough, aside from the temperature, nothing in it or anything like that?
But you're feeling more unnerved standing there.
Take my hand out and shake it off and look around.
At the edges of your vision, as you're looking around, there's movement. Always at the edge of your vision, never in sight. Sometimes the movement is close to the ground. Sometimes it's higher up. But it's always flickering movement at the edge of your vision. Light.
As a quick check around, because now he's starting to get a little bit paranoid, are there any ghosts?
You don't see any, but as you try to stretch, because that's something that's happened to you many times in your life and unlife, you suddenly realize you're not where you were standing a second ago. It's dimly lit. Much like what you're in, but it's dimly lit. Everything is a bit brighter than it was. And there's a wrongness feel to you where you're standing.
And I'm not near the trough anymore?
You don't see the trough.
Hmm.
You didn't take any real steps. You were just kind of turning in place, looking around because of the flickering movement. But you're not where you were.
Do I see anything? Am I still in the village?
There's vague outlines of buildings. Very vague.
But everything's all distorted because of the light and all that?
Yeah. And you realize now where the light is coming from. There is a moon in the sky. A full moon. Gonna roll while you're deciding what to do.
I am still obfuscated,
Mhm.
right?
You think so? There is a chittering noise in the distance. So any way to describe it? Chittering. Loud chittering noise in the distance.
Any way for me to recognize if it's mammal chittering, insect chittering, anything like that?
You would say small mammal, but the chittering volume level's not right.
Hmm. I can't see around me. And I'm not a Nosferatu that can hit things. Damn it all. I'm going to see if I can call a single rat to me. Just one. For beckoning.
Give me...
I have a theory, and something tells me my theory's right,
give
especially
me a
with those
charisma
reactions.
animal kin. While you're rolling charisma animal kin, difficulty will be 4, actually, where you are right this second.
Sick, I'm spending willpower just to make it extra funny.
As you can hear, whenever I unmute my mic, you can hear Mama cackling in the background.
Snatcher doesn't know what the fuck's going on?
I understand. Snatcher does not know what's going on.
Even if Maddox is screaming.
I appreciate the player not metaing.
I know it's out of character, but holy hell, that's broken me, and it's so good.
That'll be 2 successes, sir.
Wow, even on that low difficulty, only 2, huh?
No kidding. That's what happens with only 4 dice.
The chittering gets louder. And you can't make out the words because the words are... It's almost like multiple voices speaking at once, talking over each other. But there's anger and pain and madness. And the responses. And it's getting louder.
Coming from a specific direction or all around me?
All around you.
Bollocks. Yeah, nah, Snatcher's gonna start booking it.
As soon as you go to run, you take a step and trip over the water trough. And slam into the side of the shack you were standing in front of.
And that sort of action feels like it would have broken my obfuscate, because that's loud as shit.
Well, anyone who would saw you. Because if nobody sees you, but now anyone who looks that direction has a chance to see you because they heard something. And right here, everybody, we're going to go to break. We will be back in 10 minutes. Please enjoy the break. Enjoy the wonderful music by Carlene. She's a sweetheart. She lets us use her stuff on our streams, and we love her for it. So enjoy the break. Welcome back, everybody. What you missed during break was Augustine saying he wants a werewolf sugar mama.
I'm sure we can find a Black Spiral dancer for you.
No. There's plenty of Shadow Lords out there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, pick something with class, I beg you.
Before the break, this group found out there was some hostility between the Kievan Rus part of their workers and the old ways Transylvanians, particularly the ones who follow the Wolf Lord, the Wolf God, and the Wolf Protector. They've got a lot of names for him. But this group of Cainites do know that that is really just a werewolf. Or a group of werewolves. And so they went to investigate why this hostility was going on after finding out there was disease being spread amongst the villages. And of course, now that they've been in the village, Elena talked to the elder of the village. Peregrine spoke with the wise woman. And Snatcher found himself in a world he's never been in. A different place, a place that, let's be fair, Cainites are not welcome. Not even close. And we left with him falling over the trough as he come out. But before we go to that part, we're actually flashing back to the fortress. With Augustine and Miguel, you all have been searching the place, looking for signs. You all, let's see, we had 4 from Miguel and 2 from Augustine for your investigation. Mm-hmm. For you, Augustine, with 2, you've seen moving around the place. There's not much that draws your attention. You did find a few places on the fortress, around the foundation of the fortress, that has scratch marks that don't look like they were made by the tools being used. Fresh scratch marks. Very tiny. Very small ones. But Miguel, you feel eyes watching you as you're moving around for quite a bit. You don't see anything. It's not until you go up to speak with Augustine that you notice a head's poking over the wall. Not a human head. The top of your palisade has got sharpened points, of course. And there is an oversized rat, just its head looking through, watching. By oversized, it's not, I mean, rats aren't small. This one you'd put twice the size of a normal rat. Its head's big enough that you noticed it because its head's that big. And it's just staring at you, doing a very unrat-like thing. It's right as you come up to Augustine.
Well, I am making eye contact, surging manipulation.
Look at these scratch marks down here, Miguel.
When I've made eye contact with the rat, I've already surged and commanding it to come over, squeaking at it.
And Augustine, you go to talk to him and you see his eyes locked over on a portion of the wall as he starts making odd squeaking noises. It's obvious when you look over at it what you're seeing. Go ahead and give me your, what is the roll for that one? I'm sure you know the roll.
Manipulation and animal kin.
Okay, go ahead and give me that roll.
And
difficulty is normally based on type, of course.
Rats is 6.
Yep.
If it is a normal rat. And using rat
Animal sounds
squeaks
gives you a 5. Your difficulty will be
makes that a 5.
Yep.
And with the surge, that is 5 successes.
It moves slightly up the wall a bit, like it's trying to scramble over. Then it backs back down, and it hisses at you, and then drops out of sight. You know you made the sounds right. You know when you've taken the same tone of squeak voice, I should say. Rats have obeyed you in the past, not this one.
There's something wrong there. What were you about to say, Augustine?
I found these trivial scratch marks down here, but what did you find? Because I've never seen you call upon an animal and not have it come to you. What defied you so?
There's a big ass rat.
Like it has eaten well, or it is
like it's bigger than it should have been.
Okay. Let us go in that direction then, and I will draw my sword.
Okay. Miguel, are you going with him?
Yeah.
You all go over to that section of the palisade. You've had 2 months here. Now, your day workers have done a lot of day work, but you've had the guards on their free time even put a small walk where you can get up to look over the wall. Why not, right? As you climb up on the wall and look over, at first, you don't really see or notice anything except for the marks on the wall where the head was poking over. There's claw marks that went all the way up. It was digging. Rats, you don't think normally can dig claws in? It was digging claws into the wood to climb it, leaving visible marks.
During the course of our investigation, Storyteller, did we actually look at the shrines that were broken?
It's some of the wolf lords on this same section of wall.
What side are we looking at? Are we looking at the roost side?
You're actually looking at a portion of the wall that is on the roost side. It doesn't face the villages. It faces out onto another opening, because if you remember the way it looks there, one side is almost a sheer drop, but it's got forest at the bottom of the drop. It's not the valley. There's no villages there, but that's the side where the shrines were damaged. And that's the side this thing was looking out. But it is on the side of the Transylvanian, just barely if you divide a line down the middle. Just barely on the Transylvanian side.
The damage to the shrines. Are we talking that somebody took a hammer to this? Is it something...
Someone kicked the offering bowl, tossed the candles away, toppled it over, pulled it down. And as you'll recall, Snatcher's rats only smelled the smells of the camp, not an outside smell.
There's no marks that similar to what Augustine just showed me, though.
Are you going to go look at one of the shrines and look for those marks?
Yeah, I'm looking for that.
Yeah.
You go and look at the shrines. There are no marks on the shrine. The shrine has been put back in place, of course, but there are little marks on the ground, little tiny lines on the ground where, knowing what you saw on the palisade, little claws have been scurrying around this section around outside the shrine tonight. You know it's tonight because otherwise, I mean, it's in the dirt of the ground. Any kind of walking would have hidden them, would have just brushed them right over. Like if you went to investigate the shrine after it was damaged, you would walk and hide all that.
And these are after it's been, whatever repair's been done to it tonight. And this is blatant, or is this something that Miguel would have to explain to Augustine?
You can point it out to him that you see him. You're only getting lucky because you're looking before any of the people have come the next day to put offerings to the shrine.
The rat was here.
So it was neither the Transylvanians or the Rus that did this to the wolf.
I mean, I don't think it was a big enough rat to have done the damage that was done to it.
Yes, but the damage to the wall, the scratching, that is not a normal sized rat.
Still not, I don't believe, large enough to do the kind of damage that was, we were told was done to the offering. Unless they, like, there's more than one giant sized rat and it got on the shoulders and then another one got on the shoulders and put on some sort of coat.
3 rats in a coat. Yes. I know this story. Is this something we want to bring to the wolves' attention? Animals tend to be enemies of each other. They might know more about these rats.
I don't know the connection, but perhaps being his domain, he would know more. He may be able to help fill in the missing puzzle pieces, so to speak. Storyteller, since one of them is supposed to be always watching us, can we see it?
Yes, it's not even close to where you are. But as you circle around the wall a bit, you find him on the Kievan Rus side, or not Kievan Rus, the Transylvanian side, watching from the valley.
Him or just another wolf?
Just a wolf. You don't know which wolf. It's hard to tell in the dark, and a lot of these wolves, they share similar markings.
How far away?
Beasiest.
That part down in the valley, it's quite a bit away, but close enough it can definitely see you even in the dark, mainly because there's a lot of light that comes out of your fortress at night.
Far away enough that, is it close enough that I can make eye contact and it could hear me?
Oh, I'm sure if you raised your voice, it would hear you.
I am going to make eye contact with this wolf and attempt to howl out, I would like to speak face to face.
So you're going to ask it to speak with Galen. The wolf howls once and disappears.
I will sheath my sword because I do not want to look aggressive.
I will wait outside the gate.
Okay. We're going to flash back to the village. Elena and Peregrine, you are stepping with the wise woman when you hear a thump, a bump, and some swearing in Old English, of course, because that's Snatcher's native tongue, from about 2 houses over.
Snatcher, is that you?
Oh, at her voice, I'm scrambling up and bolting over to them.
And when you bolt over to them, the old lady sees you. She makes a sign in the air, and it's not a cross.
I
but
don't
she
get too
doesn't
close.
seem too shocked, which is.
And I don't have mask up, so I'm
right.
just
I know.
full scales.
She makes a sign at you, but she doesn't react quite like you would have expected.
I still don't get too close, just out of courtesy.
Elena literally leans over to the old woman and says, "He looks a beast, but he has a soft heart."
And Snatcher is, you can see once he gets closer, even by, the old lady's got a torch. She can't walk without it. So you're not that close to her when she has a torch. It's dark.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see Snatcher's wet from about knee height down.
What on earth happened to you?
This town is cursed. I have no other description.
And the old lady starts making all kinds of signs.
Let's not cause a panic.
Apologies.
I told you. Curse has been laid.
Curse hasn't been laid. Come on, grandmother. You know better. We're wiser than this.
Don't question her speech just yet, Peregrine. It is not. I wish I could still imbibe spirits.
Okay, what happened?
I was wandering the village, seeing if I heard gossip or noticed anything odd, and I did. A flash in a trough of water, and I'll gesture up to the... You said it was like a moonless night, right?
Yeah.
I gesture up to how dark it is.
You saw light in the water?
Exactly. I went to investigate. The water was much colder than the surroundings, and as I looked around, there was a full, bright moon above my head. Everything seemed both detailed and vague all at once, and I attempted to call for rats because I didn't recognize the area I was in. And what I got in response was many angry, mad voices. So either many rats in one spot or one rat with many voices. Either way, I swear to you, I do not have the creativity to make this up.
And the wise woman, marsh spirit, it's all you, she starts muttering and she starts making more signs.
A moment, Mother. Where is this trough?
I indicate and will guide them back to it.
When we get to it, Elena literally kicks it over.
Okay, when you get to it, there's no light reflecting other than her torch.
Yeah.
Because the grandmother's with you.
Elena,
though she's not,
kicks it over.
She's lagging back a bit because, makes her a bit nervous. And of course, you all don't mind her lagging back because your beast does not like fire. You kick it over and the water all spills out.
Yep. I don't know if that will help, but there are sayings about reflective surfaces.
And for Elena and Peregrine and Snatcher, you are seeing odd flashes of light at the edge of your vision. It's never where you're looking. It's only there briefly.
Peregrine remembers not to go by the light. She just kind of backs up by close, not exactly too close to the grandmother, but like, nope, light's bad.
It's obvious Snatcher doesn't know what he's doing, but he's trying to mimic one of the symbols that the woman was drawing in the air.
Okay.
One of the, like, keep me safe symbols.
She's doing...
He's not doing it very well.
Peregrine, she's doing not just one faith. She seems to be breaking out multiple faiths worth of symbols right now.
If it makes you feel better, Snatcher, give me your arm.
I hold out my right arm.
She'll pull out a small little piece of charcoal and do the witch's knot on him.
Okay.
Are there
Everything helps.
shadows?
There's lots of shadows. You're in the dark. She has a torch. There's flickering shadows all over. The lights out of the corner of your vision, you don't see any shadows cast by the light. It's just brief glimpses of lighted movement or light at the edge of your vision.
I saw these lights as well when I was investigating.
Lights?
You don't see them.
On the sides. Every time I turned, they were just barely
No,
there.
but
Movement.
old eyes, I don't
light.
see well.
Good. Mother, tomorrow tell your people to avoid this area.
Well, that's going to upset. Oh, Fedja is going to be mad. He lives there.
We will construct them a new house elsewhere.
And we turn back to go see the woman that's sick.
Okay. So, Snatcher, you're going to follow with her? I'm pretty sure Snatcher's not going to stay.
No, actually, Snatcher's going to offer to ride back to the fort to inform the other half of the coterie.
Yes.
Okay.
Elena says, make sure you tell them about the lights. Watcher needs to know about that.
Oh, yes, I'll let Miguel know. He seems to be the one most diplomatically suited to the task. And I'll have my horse haul it back to the fort.
So you're heading back to the fort, hauling it. Peregrine and Elena, the wise woman takes you to another shack. This is Irina. Her husband is at the fort. And as you're brought in, the first thing you can smell the scent of sickness. And you can smell your kindred. Peregrine has heightened senses. The smell of death in the room. As you look her over, the woman is not breathing.
She's passed.
Her skin has taken on the pallor of death. She has lesions over most of her body.
Peregrine still studies the body.
You can see she's been cold, or there were cold at one point. I'm sure wet cloths have been put over the lesions, though the woman's thrashings have thrown them all off.
With the lesions, has Peregrine seen this before?
You've not seen something like this, no. And they almost look like... let me have you roll for that. I don't want to give that to you for nothing. Let me have you roll. You can roll intelligence, hearth wisdom.
Can I do a wits hearth with him?
Sure. I will let you roll that too.
You're doing intelligence. If you get 2 zeros, is that a crit?
If you get any 10s, it's a crit. If you're using your specialty. If you don't have a specialty, you just count as a normal success.
Okay. No, my specialty is in language is not this.
Yeah.
I got 6 because I did get a 10.
And I got 10s. Is that added to?
Nope, it's just a regular one without a
'Cause
specialty.
I use my specialty of cunning because
Okay.
Elaine is a bit of a cunning woman too.
Okay, I have 5.
5 and 6. They look like small bite wounds, but not. There's no damage to the flesh as if a bite. They're small bite sized, but they don't have any tearing or teeth marks or anything like that you would expect from a bite wound, because no bite wounds are perfectly clean.
Mm-mm.
But they do look like small bite wounds.
Elena gets kind of close. She doesn't touch it, but she gets close and she looks and she says, "Does that look like..." It's not, but it looks like bites.
Peregrine starts to look for like little claws and such. Like if somebody used their body to clean on.
Nope.
Or little bite marks around the feet.
No marks other than that. And since you're looking around the room, you don't see any droppings or anything else.
Mother, what did this one do before she got sick?
Like most of us here, she worked fields. When not working the field, she weaved.
Have any of the other weavers gotten sick?
No, she was the only weaver.
So it's been mostly field workers getting sick.
Well, that's most of what we have here.
I understand. I understand.
Do you think there's things in the field?
We had a cook when it helped cook for most of the wives cook, but we have a number who have lost their wives to sickness over the years or to accident. And so we have someone who cooks food in return for portions of the field.
And so that one didn't go out in the field but got sick.
Yes. She died with pustules all over.
Where is her home?
And we burned it.
Did you burn the body?
It was sick. We will burn this one too.
It's okay, Peregrine.
Oh, yeah. Just trying to not get emotional.
I know.
And the Romans taught us that. You burn the dead.
That are sick.
No. You burn the dead. The burial means of the Romans. This village follows their beliefs. They're the ones.
Romans?
Well, that's who influenced much of this region. They've been gone a while, but they brought Christianity.
She just looks.
It was not the Romans that brought Rus Christianity.
Mistress, we're far from Kiev. We're far from most of the Rus here. Were it not for the towers that we tore down for materials, we wouldn't know what we were.
Wise woman, you are Rus.
That is what they say to us. I am of this village. That's all that matters. My mother was from this village. My mother's mother. Her mother.
And that is the way of the Rus. The Rus women, at least. Well, All right, so you had the cook that traded favor for foodstuffs that came from the fields. Everyone who has been sick otherwise works in the fields.
That is most of.
That's, of course, most of your village, yes.
I would work the fields, but I'm too old for that, so instead, I watch over. Tell him what days are good to plant, what days are good to harvest.
Interesting. Thank you, Mother, for your time this evening. Please get your rest. We will see ourselves out.
And you all step back out as she goes, and she heads back to her cabin, though you're pretty sure she's planning to burn this place.
Of course.
Come morning.
Yes.
But before she leaves, she draws a mark on the door.
Yes. Plague.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And as we are riding back, Elena has been kind of quiet, like you can see the wheels turning in her head. And she's like, Peregrine,
Hey,
do you see what's in common?
the field and sickness.
The crops.
Hey,
Those who handle the crops get sick.
sick. Hey. This is something I haven't come across.
If it is something not of our kin, we would not have come across it likely.
Hey. I'll start to see if I can research anything. I did give her a book
Good.
to help her with a bit of herb knowledge. I did tell her to bring her granddaughter over, and I'll teach her.
Good. I knew
But-
that you would be able to get along with her.
Well,
You're a
Old
cunning.
ways.
You're a cunning woman too.
who? Me? Oh. You see me way too much in the fighting pits to know that I'm not cunning.
Yes.
I'm a cunning linguist, there you are. And not many other people can say that. You're welcome.
I hate you.
We shall see if perhaps. I hope that the werewolf is still there when we get there. We can share that information. That whatever is going on, it is plaguing the crops.
Hey, and this will hurt the people, and it is not us.
Indeed.
I don't know, whatever Snatcher had seen, it doesn't sit well with me. And it's not something I've ever heard of as faith-based.
Not at all. My mother used to tell me to be careful of mirrors and
Why?
water. That sometimes if you see your own reflection, it is not your reflection you are seeing.
I'm confused now. Why is this? Because I've never heard this.
It is possible that it is somewhere else. A portal.
You're not thinking it's world between worlds.
I don't have the knowledge to know for sure. But Snatcher was taken somewhere that had a full moon
Hey,
glowing in the
'Cause-
sky, and it is pitch dark out here.
hey. Sure, this.
So do you think that was this place or perhaps another place?
Okay, world between worlds. Look,
I
we didn't
believe
have
your
this an
people would have
island.
called it the Fae.
Oh, we don't know. That's something I wouldn't even tangle with.
Exactly. So I don't know, but it is theory because I kicked over the water and then there was a reaction. Walking up to the trough, I saw no lights. So I don't know what it is, but it was something. And I hope by knocking over the trough, I closed its fucking portal.
Hopefully you closed it so that they cannot get out instead of closing it so they cannot get back.
Because I want to help those people.
I agree. I can try and pray and meditate a bit and maybe seeing if the Tande Dada turn around and help me.
But the werewolf may know more. Because they told us to look for lights.
I thought they told us not.
Well, they told us to let them know if we saw them.
That's fair.
So, they might know more about it. Whether or not they decide to share, that is their choice. Because it is their business, but if it keeps harming the people, that's a problem.
Eh?
Because I think something is involved that is trying to drum up trouble for the Transylvanians that support the werewolves.
If you separate people, they're easier to conquer.
And if you inspire infighting because of manipulating biases, it weakens the support of the werewolf.
Oh, I agree. This is kind of a political nightmare for them.
Exactly. So, I advise the eldermen of this village as gently as I could without revealing too much.
How are you gentle?
I didn't tell him that there was werewolves.
Okay, that's fair. I don't think he'd handle it well.
I did smell his wild roses, though, and told him I wish that they grew on the pass.
He's got wild roses.
And he has garlic, and he has crucifixes plastered all over his walls. Like, that's going to protect him from anything.
I miss garlic so much.
I know.
I really do. Oh.
They used to roast it in Constantinople, and it was so good.
And then you put butter on it.
Oh, I miss that. But,
I know.
But, yes, so he thinks, of course, that he is all, Christian and thinks it's the heathens causing this. But I told him, I said, I will investigate. And if I find that he is right, I will tell him you are right. But if I find that he is wrong, I will put him on the right path. And I think he is wrong.
I believe he's wrong too, but the whole thing with faith, I'll always let people believe what they wish to believe, but as long as you're not turning around and shoving it down my throat.
Or murdering others for it.
I mean, seriously, do you know how many times I've been threatened by burying and burning and all that stuff? Gets me a little bit old after a couple of 100 years.
It looks like we are here.
Now, Snatcher, you rode at full speed to the place. So you're aware, while Elena and Peregrine didn't hear any small rustling noises, you heard lots of small rustling noises the whole way there. And at one point, you could almost swear, because you don't have great night vision, especially when there's no moon, there was a moving carpet behind you at one point, almost swear. But that couldn't happen. That not normal anyway. So you must be still touched by whatever happened to you.
Nope, I'm taking everything at face value at this point. There's shit following me.
And when you arrive at Miguel, you're still waiting outside the other gate. Augustine, where are you? Are you waiting with him, or are you inside the compound watching? I assume the gate's open. Miguel's standing at the opening of the gate because that really highlights with the light behind him. You can really see him there.
I'm standing far enough away so that I'm not a threat to any of the wolves that come up but I'm also there close enough that if shit hits the fan, I can help pull him away if necessary.
So you hear Snatcher's horse as Snatcher screams to have the gate opened as he's riding up at full speed.
And probably yelling to close the gate behind him.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
Not stopping, just open! Shut!
As he comes riding into the camp.
And then getting off the horse as quickly as possible. He's going to
Your
make
horse
sure that this
lathered and foamed pretty bad right now. It's definitely
I'm
one of the
telling
guards
them to
probably
handle it.
Matthias is quite skilled with horses. Comes over, which is one of Elena's retainers, comes over and starts brushing the horse down.
You all would also notice that Snatcher is not obfuscated right now. He's been doing that less and less around the fort.
Snatcher, is everything okay? You seem to be agitated.
Respectable observation skills, Augustine. There is... No one wants me to say it, but I'll say it again. I feel that village is cursed.
Well, maybe don't say it so loud. Come over here and say it to us very quietly.
I thought I saw an odd reflection of light. Yes, light in a trough of water. I went to investigate, pushed my hand in. The water was frigid. And then I turned. The moon was full. Everything looked the same and entirely different simultaneously. And I felt quite a lot of voices, and none of them seemed sane or pleasant. And then I tripped over the trough and was immediately back where I was standing.
Miguel will not turn his head. He will still be looking out towards the path, patiently waiting. But he will kind of lean back a little. You mean like the lights are sometimes two-legged, sometimes four-legged friend warned us about?
Indeed.
And you went towards those lights.
It was not towards the lights. It was not the same. It was a reflection. And seeing the lights since then, they don't reflect.
What agitated you so? Because, and this is me, but not you, but if I saw a reflection of a light, I would not be as scared about this situation as you are. You seem like you've seen a ghost.
I have seen ghosts. I would prefer ghosts to this. I can understand how ghosts operate. They are very emotional, but emotions are something everyone possesses. Odd gateways to spots that are but aren't. I am not a magician or researcher. I have no desire to interact with such oddity. Being a corpse walking is stress enough.
So you put your hand in the water and then the water transported you into a different world?
Or it was simply a distraction while I was transported with another mean. I could not answer.
And you got back just by tripping over your feet?
Yes, in a panic. I was going to run because I had no other recourse. And then I was immediately back where I was. Elena and Peregrine should be back after they have investigated. I think they were looking at some of the ill or bodies of the ill. They might have more information.
Did you see anything else?
Is the player forgetting anything, anyone?
Yeah,
Or
the
did I
carpet
cover
moving behind you?
Oh,
You
All
haven't
the fucking feet
You
skittering.
haven't given anything other than that one incident,
True.
not everything else that goes around.
He
building
is
into
pretty
it.
hyper-focused, I will admit. Okay. And far too many small creatures moving about. Far too many. I would assume rats. The road seemed as if it was moving behind me at some points as I rode back.
We have had interactions with rats tonight as well.
How so?
Miguel, do you want to tell him about the big rat that you saw?
There was a rat twice the size of a normal rat.
Twice the size.
That did not come when called. It climbed the wall.
There are scratch marks if you want to see them.
I would.
There are also scratch marks on the building that Augustine found. And we also found scratch marks at the site of the shrine after it's been restored.
Shanky, are there any of my rats that I can see around here right now?
Well, yes.
I'd love to call it over with a bit of food and ask it a question.
Okay. Give me your manipulation animal, Ken. Difficulty will be 5 because you can do Pharaoh Whispers.
While he's doing that, we arrive through the gate.
Not quite.
Okay.
But because he was riding flat out and you all weren't going full speed, kill your horses. But don't worry, you'll be there in a minute.
Okay.
2
successes.
Yeah, it takes you a bit. The rat does not want to speak coherently about much of anything, it seems. Takes you a lot longer to get it to calm the fuck down. And that's where Elena and Peregrine arrive. But finally, you get a little bit of sense from it, because even though you're speaking, let's be fair, I may put it into words, but really it's more of a combination of scent, mental images that they're describing. It's an abstract form of communication. And what you get from it is Big Brother is the closest equation you can come to it. The rats that aren't.
The rats that aren't.
That's another way that you might get a description. It's kind of a combination of them.
And do the rats seem like they're avoiding Big Brother rats, or are
your
they
rats
just
seem nervous
chill?
and agitated as fuck right now?
I tell them just for tonight to be outside the fortress.
That's not where they want to be.
Okay, that's what I was checking. What side are they more scared of? I just tell them to hide inside the walls then.
They don't want to go outside the walls at all.
They want to be near the people where the bigger rats aren't. All right, and are they the regular rats also freaking out, or are they less, like just the ones that are passing through that I'm not interacting with?
You've got a pretty dedicated group of rats, to be fair, because humans, food, lots of food. Rats don't really move as long as the food is staying. So the rats you've kind of fostered around here, they don't really want to leave.
All right, so I crippled our rat network for a second.
Everyone sees Elena and Peregrine pull up. They were riding their horses quickly, but not like flat out. So you see Squeak or Snatcher talking to a rat. He's kind of crouched down speaking to it, while Miguel's got his back to him, staring out towards the Transylvanian Valley, and Augustine is a bit back without a weapon drawn, but clearly providing protection, because Elena's seen it before, without being threatening.
Mm-hmm. She walks up to Augustine and says, I take it you gentlemen have summoned our associate that watches.
This is correct, Damalena. We had some incident with rats, a rat that Miguel saw that was twice the size of a regular rat from what he has said.
Well, the village we visited, everyone who has been sick worked the fields. The only one that was the exception was one that could not work the fields, but traded cooking food for yields from the field. So everyone that got sick had handled the crops from the field. Snatcher showed us where he traveled to another realm, it seems.
I told them in basic terms I'll stand up away from the rat now and just let it run.
Good. I had him show us where it happened. I kicked over the trough of water, in case it had something to lure people in.
Good.
And then, as soon as I did that, I saw lights on the periphery. I saw them, Pellegrin saw them, even Snatcher saw them. That's what spooked him and sent him running.
We were warned about the lights.
Yes, and I didn't stay. We had a elder, cunning woman with us at the time. She was showing us the sick. And she could not see them. But she had bad eyes. So we left that area behind another villager's home and observed the body. Pellegrin, of course, examined and took many notes. I noticed that there were lesions on the upper body that were small. No breaks in the skin, but I swear they resembled little bites. They are burning the bodies and the homes of the sick when they die. They are treating it as plague.
So now are we just waiting on and I won't finish the sentence, but just look off in the direction that we first met the wolf?
Because this is a much larger animal, I thought it best that Miguel summon the wolf that we met, since it too seemed to be much larger than a normal wolf should be. So maybe this is something that they know about.
Yes. Especially since they warned us about the lights. They know something.
Exactly.
Next there will be cats.
Oh.
Miguel nodded at Elena's comment, not at Snatcher's.
Mm-hmm.
I figured.
Yeah. All we need is something twice the size of a regular cat tossing things off the tables.
I swear I once watched one jump 15 feet after getting a few steps on a wall.
No place is safe if there are more than just wolves that can change.
Why is the rat acting weird, Snatcher?
They don't wish to leave the fortress. They're scared.
Really?
I find it interesting too. Wouldn't they be... I know they are associated with me, and maybe all changers don't like us, but...
Do you think you heard skitterings in the forest when we were headed down? Do you think they were scared too? And getting away from... Because if during that time, Augustine here and Miguel saw the big rat, they would be wanting to get away from the fortress. Yes?
I asked them if they wished to remain outside the borders so that they would not be paid as much attention to, and they vehemently refused.
She looks at Augustine. But this big rat, it's outside of the fortress now, yes?
It was outside, yes. It was looking in at us.
When your rat is less scared, ask it if it knows anything about the creatures in the forest.
It will take a
Storytelling?
moment, but of course.
It doesn't have to be now. I understand they are scared. But
Yes, Miguel, real quick.
Were the marks that were shown by Augustine, did they match the size of claw marks of the one that had climbed up the wall?
Yes. And no rat
Miguel-
can scratch stone. No normal rat can scratch stone. Doesn't work that
Miguel
way.
will lean back and point this information out.
what?
If
Elena
not-
goes up to the palisade and looks.
You see, the wooden palisade that you have, because you haven't built a stone wall around the
No.
whole thing yet, the wooden palisade, yeah, those claws, rats can climb a lot of things, but this thing dug claws and left gouge marks. I mean, they're larger than rat size, but they're tiny little sharp claws up the wall.
And she comes back. I guess we wait. Hopefully we can get this reported before whatever that was decides to come back.
As you're
We called
waiting,
him as soon as we discovered this.
Miguel is watching the Transylvanian side. Miguel, everything looks normal at first. And then 5 extremely large wolf shapes, all of them the color of the shadows in the forest. They're not pitch black. That would be obvious in a forest. They are shadows in a moonless night. These shapes detach themselves from the darkness of the shadows down there. And all 5 of them start padding up to the wall. And right here, everybody, we're going to end this episode. Season 1, episode 7. Yeah, I have to end it right here because this scene's going to take way too long. And I think my players and the viewers, let's cover some XP. You get 3 per session, but I'm giving a bonus XP to everybody this session, mainly because of Elena's insight that somebody could be fostering a war for their own ends that may not have anything to do with the plague itself, but the plague is a means to cause hostilities for their own reason. I like that kind of Machiavellian thinking. I'm not saying I would do that, but I like the Machiavellian thing.
That,
yeah.
Shanky.
Okay. I would. So everyone gets 4 this episode. See, I like to reward the players when they come up with good stuff.
What can I say except you're welcome?
So as we leave with this, they've got a bit of a mystery. Now, we've been avoiding going night to night, but as soon as I put this little rat incident in, I know we're not going to be able to skip large amounts of time because you all are not going to let go
Oh, no.
of this one until you get some answers. So
Something's messing with my rats, man. I gotta help
Something's
them.
messing with the Roos people.
and the Transylvanian side and the wolves and blaming, getting the Christians to blame the pagans.
And one side of our food stock is getting fucking sick. Nah.
And dying off.
Yep.
Yes.
And the big ass rat has been inside,
Inside.
Yeah.
and it has not been reported.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of these motherfuckers is kinfolk.
Or the ratkin themselves.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. I see you.
One of these motherfuckers about to
Snatcher.
get it.
So you're
I
aware,
just pointed out that the rat has been inside, and yet your rats want to stay inside knowing this.
fire
Think about
and
that.
people.
Fire and people. That's safety.
And I just want the viewers and the players to know, we can't just have the whole season of them building a fortress. Where is the fucking fun in that? There should be something other than just the fortress going on. And guess what?
Absolutely.
This is what it is. The fortress is the backdrop, not the story.
We have got to clean up this fucking area because we need to make money.
Yep.
And then get the hell out once we're actually clear with it.
So I do thank you, the viewers, for being out here. Please join us on our Discord. So you're aware there is an open casting call on our Discord right now for a Monster Hearts 2 game.
It closes Friday, y'all.
Closes Friday. So if you're on our Discord, you can go to the casting couch, send Mama, read the casting announcement, gives you an idea of what the game is, when it'll do. Send Mama a DM, and you might be able to play Monster Hearts 2 with us.
And you'll be able to play with Junie and Ravnos Archon, because they're returning as their characters.
Yep. So, check us out on the Discord. We already closed the casting call for Vampire. We are conducting our audition rounds. So I will give updates once we figure out if we have a cast for that, or if I murder the whole applicant pool and we have no cast. Something we'll figure.
We're not going to murder the applicants.
Okay, just the characters they're playing.
Wait, you're not? Damn it.
Okay, we haven't reached that level yet. Okay. If you want to catch our back episodes of not just our Vampire Dark Ages, but all of our content, we've got so much World of Darkness stuff. We just ended our Windy City Chronicle. We had DC by Night before that, though the quality on our DC by Night, it being our first stream, it's kind of tough to watch at times, but it's there.
It's good near the end.
Yep. Demon the Fallen, Wraith the Oblivion, Mage, Changeling, Werewolf. We got a lot of good shit on there, so check that out. And then the first Monster Hearts game we streamed, Bluebeard's Bride, Zasser Kala, Nighthawks, You Will Destroy Something Beautiful, Paranoia. Jesus Christ, we do so much content. We keep ourselves busy. And if you like D&D or Call of Cthulhu, Ishvel's channel. That is Tiss. She's Dr. Tiss, our British keeper. And she runs Call of Cthulhu now, and she ran D&D before that. So go to the YouTubes, check it out. If you want to get some merch, we've got studio merch. We'll come up with some Dark Ages.
Idiot men on a t-shirt.
Run to the light, Snatcher Ann.
Run to the light, Snatcher.
Hey, it's not my fault
Run
that
away from the light, Snatcher Ann. Oh my God. Run to the light, Snatcher Ann on the front. Run away from the light, Snatcher Ann on the back.
We'll come up with
so
some
much
merch.
work for one shirt.
Oh,
we've got so much backlog of merch we need to make that just adding one more to the pile don't change much.
On our Discord, we have a merch request channel. Now, do not ask me for abstract and crazy ass art, because I am not an artist. But if you want text on a shirt that says something funny, I can make it work.
We still haven't gotten around to making our shirt for the Cold Revenge.
A Revenge Best Served Cold.
Yeah, we got artwork for. So just, look at the merch store. Sign in before you do it. Some stuff is adults only, so you have to have an account and sign in to see it. That's just the way that is. If you want to see some amazing content creators, down here's one of them. Ravnos Archon, Junie Von Esch, who's on the RPG table. They'll get a chance in a few minutes here to tell you all the places they are, along with Zach Rules down there, but those are our friends there. If you want to give something to the players, bits and donations, they go to the players, not to us. It is a way for you, the viewers, to show your appreciation to the players, because as you can see, we're all in costume. These costumes aren't free. Some of us can closet shop, some can't. You'd be amazed how much I can closet shop, and I still end up buying shit like this.
I made this, yo.
So, bits and donations go to the players. It's not required. We never lock any of our content behind paywalls. Nothing we do is locked behind a paywall, but it's just a way to give thanks. If you want to support the studio, subscribe on Twitch. They'll take half because they're pimps. But hey, that's the way it is.
They're damn dirty pimps.
That's right. If you want to support in other ways, KoFi, that goes to the studio. And if you watch on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel,
and
hit the notification icon, comment on the video. Those all drive up our search rankings and support the studio that way. So that's all that. Now I can give my wife the schedule.
All right. So thank you so much for joining us this evening as we get ass deep in fucking rats.
Rats deep.
Rats deep. Yeah.
Technically, that's every session for me, but go for it.
Now we all in it.
You squeaked by this time. You're okay.
Look at you.
At least it's warm and cozy in here.
I never thought I'd see the day.
I know. Right?
Snatcher, quit being cheesy.
See, now you're just setting up a trap.
I knew. I was waiting for that one.
Puns galore.
Good thing House isn't watching, because chat and the Twitch chat would be full of puns.
I know. All right, so coming up over the next week, on Friday, Ravnos Archon here will be running Star Wars at 8 p.m., while Junie Vonash and other amazing cast members are gallivanting all across the universe. It's just grand old times. So join them then for that. On Saturday, I believe Tiss is going to be here at 3 p.m. Eastern with London Esoteric Society. They are right around the turn of 1900 right now, and it's called Cthulhu 7E. So you know these investigators are doing all the shit that drives up insanity. You want to check it out. And then, actually, Shanky was sick last weekend, so we didn't start the marathon yet. Thank goodness he's feeling better. This Sunday, at noon?
Starting at noon.
And
it'll run till right around 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. So from noon to about 9, 10 o'clock is going to be the first marathon of the first season of Windy City After Dark.
It's the first 4 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
The breaks have been removed. The intros and the outros are gone. And it's just straight first 4 episodes back to back.
Yep. Yep. And then, of course, we will be back here on Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, dealing with more rat shit.
I'm sure nothing bad will happen.
I'm assuming other types of droppings too. Don't be so exclusionary.
So we're going to go around the table and let some people say where they're at. Ravnos Archon, you're first on the block there. Let everybody know where they can find you, what you're up to, all that good shit.
Hello, everybody. I'm the Ravnos Archon. I have my own channel here on Twitch where I run Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition on Mondays. It's a 2-part story where I tell Camarilla chapter one day and then an Anarch chapter the next day. Tuesdays we're off right now, but it's normally for Werewolf of the Wild West or Legend of the Five Rings. And every other Thursday I run a 7th Sea campaign, which is a lot of fun. I'm loving the system. Highly recommend playing it. And then Wednesdays you can catch me here where I'm playing the dashing Spaniard with a heart of gold that doesn't threaten to eat people at the drop of a hat. And on Fridays, for this Friday and next Friday, and then that's it, I'll be running Star Wars as well because they let me run stuff sometimes.
I mean, Big Sister is the definition of ruthless.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a different kind of La Sombra.
That's the beauty of it all. Zach Rules, let everybody know where they can find you, what you're up to.
I am Zach Rinaldi, he, him. I can be found on, we're going to say TikTok this time. We'll use that annoying social media, Zach Rules Dice. Other places I can be found at Zach Rules, but Zach Ruiz beat me to the name, even though he hasn't actually posted anything on TikTok. He just, took the name and doesn't do anything with it. I also have a website, zachrules.com. No, I'm not bitter about Zach Ruiz beating me to TikTok. No, not at all. But yes, I do have a website. It's zachrules.com. It has links to all of my stuff that I have written on, except for, because I haven't updated it, and this just came out today, Howls of the Apocalypse, currently number 4 on Drive-Thru's Top 100. Check it out if you like Werewolf 20th edition. There's stories that you can run there. And I wrote some powers and stuff in there.
If I was a werewolf player, I'd be checking it out. But I don't really play much werewolf. But I seem to use them in my games. I don't know why. Junie, let everybody know about you.
I'm Junie Vanish. You guys can find me pretty much on the internet because that's where I live and reside. It makes transportation a lot easier through all of this. I'm here not only on Twitch on my own channel, but I am also here on the RPG table every Saturday. I happen to be also on Roll Call here and on another guy's website. I think it's like somewhere up here, over there, Ravnos Archon. I'm there every other Thursday. I'm actually on the 7th Sea one. So come say hi. Character might do a little change. We don't know. Bippity boppity boop. And there you are.
And Snatcher, tell people where they don't find you.
Where they don't find me? The Alps, the Indies, basically most non-Rocky Mountain-based ranges, honestly.
What about the Carpathians? Can they find you in the Carpathians?
On Wednesdays.
And that is all you'll see Snatcher on. I will say, check out the Demon the Fallen streams on our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
If nothing else, y'all, check out the bullshit wackiness that is being that powerful.
Check
Genuinely.
out Carsador the Malefactor on that, because he played a great
So good.
Malefactor.
So good.
So
good.
Yep. And he's been in the first Monster Hearts. He's been on a number of shows.
Yes, he has. And he's always so good.
like a true McStabber, I have inserted myself into the backlog.
Yes.
That's what she said.
I mean, I've already told him I'm adopting him. So, yeah.
And
that was a very subtle cold quote, my friend. Let me tell you what.
And look, I'm going to continue my outro.
You know it.
Because I'm starving, because I can't eat on stream day due to imposter syndrome. So I want to finish the outro so I can get some food in me. So as always, when we end these streams, everybody, mental health. It's not a joke. It's not a laughing matter. Please take mental health seriously. We do at this studio. We take it seriously on our Discord. We want you to take care of yourself. We want you to reach out to those around you and help take care of others. Because, some people just need a lifeline. They need a helping hand, somebody to be that voice that, you care. And if you suffer from mental health issues, first of all, it's okay to not be okay. It is a very common thing that people suffer from mental health issues, and there may be a stigma in our society, but it is not a stigma that should be there. It is not something you should be ashamed to admit. There shouldn't be repercussions for that, because we all have problems. And if you suffer from mental health issues and you don't feel you can reach out to your own support network, in chat's a list of numbers. You can call or text 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There will be somebody on the other end of the line that can talk you through it, help you through it, and to be the person you need to have. And if you're not in the U.S., because I know a lot of people are not in the U.S. that watch our show, find a helpline.com. Put in your country of origin, find out your helpline. And if you're on the U.S. and watching this on YouTube, I know I don't post all the links in our YouTube video, but find a helpline.com.
That you can use it for the U.S. too.
You can use it for the U.S. too.
Mm-hmm.
So please, mental health is health. We want you to be okay. And I'm going to turn it over to my wife for her portion of the outro before I get off here and go eat.
To kind of tack on to the mental health portion, because I'm a nurse, but the type of nurse I am and the experience I've had, I kind of do a lot of both medical and mental care with patients. So it seems like ages back in another game during another outro, I mentioned utilizing your employee assistance program if you have access to that. And if you personally don't have that benefit, but you are in the household with someone who does, you might qualify for it too. I'm going to tell you again, please utilize that if you can, because I have been utilizing mine, and I'm going to tell you, it's been fucking amazing. I have been doing so much better. Last month, we didn't have insurance, so I couldn't see my counselor. I signed up for a coaching program with my EAP group for my anxiety, and it helped me a lot, a ton. So please utilize that, please. Lastly, also as a nurse, please take care of your health as well. Get your vaccines. Get your preventative screenings done, especially if you are overdue or due for them. Please, please, please get your physicals. Do your medication follow-up visits. Go see your specialist. Just get checked out if you're not feeling well, for real. Take it seriously. Listen to your body and be aware. If you need assistance, whether mentally or physically, please go get that assistance. Said with love. And fuck the fascists. Literally, Marjorie Taylor Greene literally did a felony on television today. I hope she fries for it.
She won't.
She showed a sex act during a hearing.
I don't think that's a felony, but it's still.
It is in D.C.
It is in
because
D.C.
it didn't have consent of the other person in the video.
Well, welcome to D.C.
Yeah. So that's a felony. The GOP is full of fucking criminals, y'all. For real.
Wow, that's revenge porn then. Under the revenge porn law.
Mm-hmm. So basically, they're full of criminals. So please make sure you're registered to vote. Let's get rid of the fucking fascists and the criminals and the people ruining our fucking country, please. And taking away human rights. And please, if you are in a Republican state or locality, make sure your requests for mail-in voting are valid. That's a thing that's happening in Florida right now. Make sure that your registration is still active. That happens in multiple Republican localities across the country to suppress Democrat voters, especially minorities. So please, monitor your shit because they will fuck around with it for real.
And fuck Putin.
And fuck Putin.
I still want to.
He's avoiding going to some kind of conference in Africa because they'd be forced to arrest him.
Oh, they told him they don't want him there either. I mean,
Yeah.
they flat out said it. We don't want you there.
Mm-hmm.
Don't show up.
Yeah,
So,
because they would have had to arrest him based on international court.
Yep. So I do thank everyone for coming. And they've got some fun times ahead. 3 episodes left. Maybe they'll get the Fortress done in time. We'll see. Good night, everybody. As soon as it'll let me change the channel.